No, not yet.
No. Hopefully now.
Yay!
Can everyone see that? Can you see that okay?
Yes, come up now.
Fabulous. So those who weren't here last time, I'm Chloe. So I work for the Nottingham Centre for Mindfulness, part-time as a mindfulness teacher, and then I've got another role in one of the local mental health teams, as an occupational therapist. So I'm just here really to talk to you today about the mindfulness interventions that are available for you all to access if you wanted to. And also, as Stuart says, a chance to practice some mindfulness together if you want to take part in that. Can you see the next one? I always have PowerPoint problems. Good, yeah. So I know that you would have all kind of heard of what mindfulness is and probably know what mindfulness is about. It's kind of everywhere at the minute, and it's kind of turned into a bit of a buzzword. It's really, really accessible, isn't it? And there's lots of kind of apps and free resources online for you to access. So I know you'll have an idea about what mindfulness is. And lots of you probably have some experience using mindfulness. But I just wanted to share this quote really from Jon Kabat-Zinn. So mindfulness is the awareness that arises from paying attention on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally with compassion. So the reason why I'm sharing this really is Jon Kabat-Zinn's an American professor who really kind of pioneered mindfulness. He set up a group in the 70s that was with chronically ill patients that weren't really responding very well to treatment or traditional treatments. And he formed this 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction program. And from that, the findings were really, really significant for the development of mindfulness. So they found that in the long term and the short term, there was lots of positives that came out of it, decrease in both physical symptoms and psychological symptoms. So it's kind of been since then really that mindfulness has really come around, and there's been lots and lots of research about mindfulness. So the aim of mindfulness really is just to increase awareness. That's all it is, increase our awareness in the present moment so that we can learn to respond and rather than react, which is what we all have a tendency to do sometimes. We all kind of have that sense of reacting automatically to something. And that's what we call automatic pilot. That again, you're all probably really aware of this term, autopilot. We spend a lot of time in autopilot. Have you ever just kind of gone upstairs and forgot what you were going to get, or maybe you've driven from A to B and have forgotten the journey, you don't really know how you've got there. So when we're in this mode, this autopilot, that's when we're more likely to kind of be triggered by things around us, or we're more likely to get our buttons pressed. So practicing mindfulness helps us to step away from that. So step out of autopilot and then into the present moment. Anyone can practice mindfulness. There's lots of different ways to practice mindfulness. So it doesn't need to just be the traditional sitting and closing the eyes and meditating. It can also be listening to sounds. It can be movement. It can be like walking or yoga. And it can also be things like eating and noticing all your senses. So there's lots and lots of different ways to practice, and that's why it's really kind of accessible for everyone. So just a few points as to why mindfulness, why is it actually helpful? What is the evidence? So it can mainly help us by it can ease anxiety by helping us to turn inward to our experience and really start to focus our attention on what's actually going on for us in the present rather than ruminating about the past or maybe worrying about the future. So it can help reduce rumination and start to help us recognize what we need in a particular moment. So if we notice anxiety is there, for example, we then we have a choice. We can choose what to do next. So maybe we will take a break or do something to look after ourselves. And it's about asking ourselves that question. Mindfulness is in the NICE guidelines for treatment of clinical depression. It's been there for quite a while now, so there's lots of evidence to say that mindfulness does help people with that diagnosis and can support people with recurrent depression and reduce the chances of them becoming depressed again. So it does that because it targets the rumination, which I've spoken about already, which is really common in depression, as you'll all be aware of. So if we're aware we're doing it, then we can do something about it. And mindfulness helps to kind of starve the brain of the rumination that it needs to kind of carry on and then stay depressed. So it kind of pulls the plug really on what keeps us depressed. And it also kind of can support us in other ways for non-depressed people, supporting us to have a look at the small positives in life that we often tend to overlook a lot of the time because we're so caught up in whatever's going on for us. There is also some new NICE guidelines that's recently been released called Mental Wellbeing at Work, and mindfulness-based approaches feature within that. And they're recommended now for healthcare staff and public care staff, staff like yourselves that are really at high risk of developing stress. So there's lots of evidence there, really, and I'm more than happy to share those NICE guidelines with you at the end if that's something that you wanted to have a look into. What I will say on why mindfulness, though, it's not a panacea in any way. It's definitely not a size fits all, and it's not going to cure everything or fix everything. It's not the answer for everything. So it's more just about helping us to understand what our limits are and then actively kind of take the steps to look after ourselves. Life is obviously really stressful and we're living in really, really extreme times. So it's very much out of our control, but mindfulness can start to help us build on that resilience during these extreme times. So we're going to have a go at doing a practice now. This is called a 3-step breathing space. So whenever you're ready, those of you that haven't practiced mindfulness before and would like to take part in this practice, if you just kind of wanted to settle into a comfortable sitting position, and if it feels okay, just allowing the eyes to close. Just get into a sitting position that it kind of embodies a sense of awakeness. So perhaps having the back slightly away from the back of the chair. So you sat upright, but not stiff in any way. And perhaps just having the feet firmly grounded into the floor and uncrossing the legs. And then just allowing the hands to rest in the lap somewhere. And if closing the eyes isn't very comfortable for you, perhaps just lowering the gaze if that feels more comfortable. And now just bringing your awareness to this position that you're sat in. So just noticing any touch or pressure points around the body. So perhaps noticing the soles of the feet as they make contact with the floor beneath them. Noticing now the backs of the legs, perhaps, as they make contact with the chair or whatever you're sat on. And then just bringing awareness to the tops or the backs of the hands or the palms of the hands. Noticing how they make contact with your lap or wherever they're placed. And just whenever you're ready, just reminding ourselves of the intentions of this practice right now. So we're not trying to get anywhere. We're not trying to achieve any kind of special state. We're not even purposely trying to relax right now. We're just going to be noticing what's here for us. So beginning the 3-step breathing space now. Spending a moment acknowledging whatever thoughts are in your mind right now. What thoughts are here? As best you can, perhaps just putting them into words, like mental events in the mind. For example, thoughts about work, the working day, or perhaps thoughts about what you're going to have for lunch. Just acknowledging any thoughts that are present right now. And then once you've acknowledged thoughts, now just acknowledging whatever feelings there are around, whatever feelings are here right now. How do I feel? And again, if possible, just putting feelings into words. Perhaps there's a feeling of sadness or of happiness, whatever feelings are here, just seeing if it's possible to acknowledge them. And then once you've acknowledged feelings, now moving on to sensations in the body right now. So just picking up any sensations that you can feel in the body right now. Perhaps it's the sense of touch or pressure as we're sat. Maybe there's some tension. Just noticing whatever sensations are here. And then when you're ready, narrowing the focus of your awareness now to the movements of the breath in the belly. So refocusing on your awareness to the movements of the breath in the belly. And if you want to, you might want to place a hand on the belly and just seeing if it's possible to connect to the direct sense of physical sensations as the breath comes in and out of the body. So noticing the in-breath for its full duration. and noticing the out breath for its full duration. And the mind might jump to other things. It might be thinking about something else, or maybe it's planning, organizing. If that happens, just noticing that the mind's gone there and done that. And just bring your attention back to the movements of the breath in the belly. If the mind is very busy, it might just help to count the breaths. In breath 1, out breath 1. In breath 2, out breath 2, and so on. Now, whenever you're ready, moving on to the final stage of the breathing space. So expanding your awareness now around the breath and taking in the whole of the body as we're sat here breathing. So just including the movements of the breath, but now also noticing any and all sensations around the body. Whatever is here for you right now. The whole landscape of sensations. All the way to the surface of the skin. Sensing the whole body breathing here in this moment. Noticing any sensations that you find or that are present right now. Now, just bringing this sense of spaciousness and this sense of whole body awareness into the next moments of your day. And whenever you're ready, just allowing the eyes to blink open. And perhaps just having a little stretch if you need to, or doing what you need to do to take care of yourself, perhaps a drink. So that practice is, as I said, it's called a 3-step breathing space, and it can be helpful to do this when you may be feeling particularly overwhelmed. And it really is just a moment to pause and check in with yourself. So we're not going off to some other place and checking out. We're very much checking in and turning inward. It can really help you doing this at some point throughout the day, just bringing you into the present moment. It's quite a short practice. We did it for a little longer than what you need to do it for. You could just simply do it in 3 minutes. It used to be called the 3-minute breathing space. So in the first step, you are noticing what thoughts are here, what feelings are around, and what sensations are around. And you've stepped out of autopilot. And then in the second step, you're focusing on just the breath by itself, helping you to anchor in the present moment. And then opening and expanding your awareness to the whole body. So by doing that, you're starting to notice what's going on for you, stepping back, taking a moment, and you can then kind of assess or decide about what that moment needs. perhaps it's a really busy day at work and you've taken a pause and you've done this, and actually you've asked yourself, well, what do I need now? And it might be a break, it might be a cup of tea, it might be a walk outside. So it's really kind of about bringing that wise mind to situations and starting to bring, I guess, compassion to yourself. And it helps us put a bit of space between whatever's gone on and our reaction to that, which is why mindfulness, and particularly this practice, can be so helpful. So this practice, people usually might do it 3 times a day, like once in the morning, once at lunchtime, once at the end of the day. Sometimes I actually do this when I've pulled up to work in my car and I've just had a moment. So it's finding little pockets of time, especially in your busy day, where you can just check in with yourself and see what you need. So the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is what we offer as a service for all of you, and also the Nottinghamshire Staff Support Hub. As far as I'm aware, it's not been amazingly advertised, which is a shame, because it's a really good support for everyone that's involved. So the Nottinghamshire Staff Support Hub was set up at the start of this year in January, and it's been commissioned for a year to support staff working in frontline public services, mainly because of the stress created from COVID and the pressure. So there are 9 organisations that are involved in the hub, and I come from Notts Healthcare, so we're one of them. And then the local medical committee, which is yourselves, are another service that can access the hub. So as part of the project, we were funded, we're involved, and all our interventions are accessible for you. But the hub also it's not just about mindfulness, there's lots of other things. So there's free counselling, there's a 24/7 phone number, there's like workbooks, there's an app called Thrive. So it's really worth looking into. And you'll be able to see all of our interventions on there and all of the other interventions as well. So I've put the website on there and our website's on there as well, but you can access us both ways, really. Just while we're on the hub, does anyone have any questions about it? Because I know it's really not well advertised at the minute. I can't see many people, by the way, so please just talk or put your hand up if you want to say anything. Okay. So I'm just going to spend the next few minutes now talking about what we offer and what you can all access. So we have our drop-in sessions there for 15 minutes. And as you can see, they're on a Tuesday and a Thursday. It's open to everyone. We've tried to put them at accessible times, or times that people can squeeze into their day. You don't need to kind of apply or anything. Just come along, whether you're experienced at meditating or new. All you need to do is click on the link. The link's in there. Or if you lose this, you can always email us for the link. So these sessions have an experienced mindfulness teacher attending them every Tuesday and Thursday. And yeah, they're for 15 minutes. And it's just really a way for us to practice together in a group. And there's definitely no obligation to say anything or even put your camera on. Just simply turn up and you'll be led through a practice. And you can join as regularly as you want. We do suggest, if you're new to mindfulness, to join a few times before deciding if it's helpful for you or not. And it's the same link every single time as well. So hopefully it's made it a bit easier. Oops. So another one of our offerings is our 2-hour workshop. So as you can see, we've got 5. They all contain elements of mindfulness practices. So all of them are, we practice in them. And also there's kind of educationally type bits as well, and also lots of additional resources. So they're all really individual. and we're kind of trying to respond to service needs and what people feel like they need. So our newer ones are the menopause, the eating, and the mindfulness for leaders. The menopause workshop's been incredibly popular, and we've had lots of requests for like individual services wanting one of those sessions just for their service, and we're more than happy to facilitate that. Emma and Stuart, if that's something that you're interested in or feel like it'd be like that you want or need, we'll be more than happy to see where we can do that for you. The mindfulness for leaders is brand new for 2023. I've not ran that one yet. As you'll all know, lots of you will be leaders, and how kind of high stress levels you all experience with your responsibilities and all the challenges that come with being in a leadership role. So it's newly developed for that reason, really. And we know how difficult it can be for leaders to kind of acknowledge their struggles. So it's really to kind of increase awareness around that and support for leaders. You can find on our website a brief kind of information about what each of these workshops include if you were wanting to know a bit more or weren't sure if it was kind of something that you'd be interested in. So at the minute we run 3 separate different groups. So I'm going to talk you through all 3 of our groups. Our first one is our 6-week course. So it's kind of an introduction to mindfulness. So it's 1 hour a week for 6 weeks. It's designed to be easy and accessible way of introducing you to mindfulness and how you can introduce mindfulness into your daily life. It explores ways to kind of manage stress and difficulties and how you can develop mindfulness in all areas of your daily life, really. It's very similar to our Mindfulness for Life course, but a shorter version, which I'm going to talk to you about next, I think. And all of our courses are run on Microsoft Teams. Hopefully that makes it really accessible. We'd love to be able to do face-to-face ones though, but at the minute they are run on Teams. I think we have usually about a maximum of 18 in a group, just mainly because we want people to be involved as much as possible, and we want people to be able to share their experiences and talk. So we kind of keep a cap on how many people come along, so it gives them that really good and best learning opportunity. So this is the course that I just mentioned, the Mindfulness-Based Cognitive Therapy for Life. It's a little longer, it's 8 weeks and it's 2-hour sessions a week. And it really is about developing new attitudes of friendliness to our experience. So all of our experience, whether that be pleasant experiences and unpleasant. And it's really about learning the skills to begin to kind of keep a balance through life's ups and downs. And then when difficulties do arise, it's about, well, how can we respond? What can we do to manage that in the best way? We ask you to complete homework every day. We know it's a lot, but that's really just because these courses are skill-based courses. So we want you to get the most out of them, and we want it to really kind of benefit your life. And that's why we ask for a commitment with the sessions and the homework. Finally, our MBCT for depression group. So it's for anyone that has experienced depression or perhaps low mood. You don't have to have a clinical diagnosis of depression. Perhaps low mood's a problem for you currently. Again, it's 8 weeks of 2-hour sessions, and this is the course that's in the NICE guidelines, and it can prevent further episodes of depression. So this is the really evidence-based one. And the reason it can help is because it can break that cycle of rumination, help us step back from difficult thoughts and feelings, recognise our early warning signs, those kinds of things. I'm really looking at how we can put less effort into trying to fix things. We have, as health professionals, we've got a kind of a mindset where we like to and want to fix things and strive. So it's kind of learning to not do that in a way. and also trying to be kinder towards ourselves and our experience. So I recommend all of them. But yeah, depending on your needs, them courses, it's just considering which one's right for you. So before I move on, does anyone have any questions about any of the courses or the workshops or the drop-in?
Have you had a large take up for those courses at all, Chloe?
So we have a steady flow, but I wouldn't say it's a large take up. To be honest with you, the 1 hour group gets more people coming. I think the longer courses is more of a commitment. So, you know, people obviously have to ask like managers if they can do a group for 2 hours a week. We do have them at like different times of the day to try and make them more accessible. So we have one starting at 8 o'clock in the morning, one starting at 4 p.m. So we do try and put, you know, times in that and make it more accessible for people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the last group I did, I think we had 8, which obviously is quite a low number compared to having 18, say, but we are running them multiple times a year as well.
And as a service, would you be able to go into practices? Because I think sometimes to release staff may be difficult. I appreciate that it's online, but if you're able to go into a practice and then have face to face with a team, you know, it's like a team building exercise or team bonding, which is that something that could be done?
Absolutely, yeah. So we have we do like taster sessions, like what we're doing now, like what I'm doing now, basically, and we're more than happy to offer that. So I can send you like it's just a form what you want when you want it, and the team, and yeah, we'd be more than happy to do a face-to-face one-off session, that kind of thing. So yeah, just if you wanted to email me and let me know, I'd be more than happy to facilitate that.
Thank you, Chloe.
It's all right. Any other questions?
At all. There's none in the chat, sadly.
Okay, that's all right then. So we're gonna do another practice now. Do you need access codes for these apps? So none of the things I'm talking about is an app. So the groups that you can access through us, I'm going to tell you how to access them in a bit. But it's just simply a case of emailing us and filling out like an application form. Is that what you were referring to?
No, I think it may be relating to. So I'll put in the chat about the Thrive app.
Ah, yes.
So I think it's relating to that. So obviously you have to do the sign up.
That's all right. Yeah, the Thrive app. I think you do need an access code actually, if that's why you're asking. I'm sure it allows you to put in your where you work, like local medical committee, and it should let you through. But maybe your occupational health or your like staff have you got like a staff wellbeing team? They should be able to direct you to what the access code is.
No, so the people on the call today are really from general practice. It'll be practice managers and GPs who are obviously managing quite a few members of staff. So, but what I can do, Roz, is I think I've got an email, or sorry, a meeting potentially this week with, is it Hannah from Thrive?
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so
so she'll be able to tell you.
Yeah, so I'll quickly email her now. Hold on, and hopefully I'll have an answer back in 2 minutes.
The Thrive app's actually really handy because you can access like CBT exercises, mindfulness on there, and also you can actually like talk to a therapist as well, like message them. So I think, I mean, I had a little bit of a play with it just to see what it was all about, and again, really kind of accessible for staff like ourselves that are working full time, and maybe don't have time for like phone calls or that kind of thing. So definitely, yeah, check it out. So if you're all happy to do another practice, again, if you wanted to allow yourself to settle into a sitting position that embodies a sense of wakefulness to your present experience. Just connecting with the body as you're sat in this position. Perhaps allowing the eyes to close or lowering the gaze, whatever's comfortable for you. And just also knowing that you always have a choice. So you don't have to do this practice right now. You can choose to do something else. And that's what mindfulness really is about. It's about choice, and it's about care for yourself and making those choices about what you need in this moment. So settling into this position and just connecting with any sense of touch or pressure in the body. Having a sense of I am here right now. And then whenever you're ready, spending a moment now noticing the movements of the breath right at the tip of the nose, perhaps noticing the warmth of the air as it comes in through the nose, or the coolness of the air as it comes in through the nose. And the warmth of the air as it moves out through the nostrils. Just allowing your attention to rest here for a moment. And then whenever you're ready, just letting that go and shifting your awareness now to the movements of the breath at the chest area. Perhaps noticing how the chest rises and falls away with each in breath, with each out breath. Just allowing your attention to rest in this one place at the moment, chest area. And then letting go of breath in the chest and shifting your awareness now to the belly. The movements of the breath in the belly. Seeing if it's possible to notice the constantly changing physical sensations that each breath brings with it. So each breath being unique. Just choosing a place where you feel the breath moving most vividly for you. So it might be the tip of the nose, it might be the chest, it might be the belly. Just choosing your place. You can feel it moving most vividly and most distinctively. Just allowing your attention to rest in this one place. Noticing the in-breath for its full duration and the out-breath for its full duration. And of course, we're all human. Our mind will wander away to other things, planning, maybe worrying. When the mind does this, as it will, just noticing wherever it's been and then gently bringing it back to the movements of the breath in your chosen place. This really is what mindfulness is. It's that noticing the mind wandering and bringing it back. We might need to do this time and time again. It's not a mistake in any way. It's exactly what practicing mindfulness is about. In fact, you can congratulate yourself for noticing the mind has wandered. In breath and out breath. Now, whenever you're ready, expanding your awareness to take in the body. Taking in the whole of the body. So you'll continue to notice the breath, but also now including sensations that are here all around the body. What sensations can you feel right now? You might notice your posture, perhaps your facial expression. If you wish, you could even scan the body, just picking up any sensations that you find. Perhaps starting at the soles of the feet and making your way up the legs, and then the pelvis area, the pelvic area, and up the belly and the torso, the hands, the arms, the shoulders and the head and the face. You might notice that there are particular sensations that are perhaps kind of pulling for your attention. If you wish, feeling free to experiment with zooming into these sensations and asking yourself, what can I feel? Do the sensations stay the same or do they change over time? Maybe you need to make a choice to move. Seeing if it's possible to hold any sensations that you find. Now, whenever you're ready, just allowing body to fade into the background for a moment and just refocusing your awareness now on hearing and sounds. Not searching for sounds in any way, just allowing sounds to come to you. Be inside of the room, outside of the room. Seeing if it's possible to notice whatever sounds are here. And if you can, just letting go of the categories we place on sounds. So instead of naming them, what you think they are, perhaps just listening to them with a sense of their pitch or their volume, a tone, a loudness, patterns of sounds. Perhaps it's my voice. Mind wanders to perhaps thinking about sounds, just redirecting it to the direct sense of hearing itself. And whenever you're ready, just allowing sounds to fade. Just whenever you're ready, allowing the eyes to blink open as this practice has come to an end. And again, just doing what you need to do to take care of yourself. Once we've been sitting for so long, perhaps we need to stretch or just have a sip of water. So hopefully you're all okay and you've not all drifted off to sleep. There's not too much left. So just a couple more slides. Hopefully not death by PowerPoint. Wouldn't want that. But I just wanted to share some of our outcomes with you, and our evidence as to why we run our courses. So you'll all really be familiar with the standardized outcome measures that we use. So we use the PHQ-9, the GAD-7, and the perceived stress scale. So they measure anxiety, depression, and stress. So this is just a graph from our first 8 courses that we completed during the first 6 months that we were running. So as you can see, there's quite a clear reduction in depression, 51%, anxiety at 55%, and stress at 31%. So obviously we always want to evaluate our interventions, and this is the way that we do it and the way that we can prove that they help people. So how to access us? You can go on the Hub website and have a look at us on there, or you can use our website. The main way is to send us an email. So if you're interested in our groups, if you wanted to pop us an email, we'll send you an application form. It has all of the dates on it. And then you can send it back to us, and one of the mindfulness practitioners like myself would have a look at the application. We do ask for an application just for the groups, mainly because we want to make sure the group's going to be as supportive for you as possible. For example, if you've had something quite big going on in your life, like a trauma or bereavement, we might suggest something else, or we might suggest a course at a later date. So really it's so we can screen the applications and make sure it's actually going to be helpful for you. The workshops just have a short registration form, which has all the dates on it, and it's just a case of ticking what you want. And as I said, all of this is on the Hub website and our website as well. We use like social media, so Twitter and Facebook, where we put our workshops on and reminders about drop-ins and things. So if you want, feeling free to kind of follow us if you want to be reminded about these things. I'll send Emma and Stuart our timetable for 2023. We're only able to do it up to March because there isn't funding in place yet for after March, but hopefully there will be. So I'll send that out to you. But yeah, as I said, it only goes up to March. Does anyone have any questions about accessing us? And finally, just to touch base with this one really. So we, as a mindfulness team, we also offer foundation training. So this is training to be able to teach MBCT, which is what I went through and what lots of others have been through to be able to teach the course itself. So it's a part-time course over 18 months, and kind of just like you're on a register for the HCPC or the NMC. Mindfulness has its own register, the British Association of Mindfulness-Based Approaches, BAMBA. So this training would mean that you'd be able to go onto that register and deliver mindfulness as a teacher. If you are interested, the very first step would be to come along to one of the longer courses anyway, so it actually benefits you. So that's always the first step. And if you are interested, please let us know by putting that on the application form when you come to a group, because our foundation trainers may well be in contact with you and may want to ask you a bit more. Does anyone have any questions about the foundation training? I put our website on there, which tells you a lot more about it. There is lots of information on there, so if you are interested, have a look at that first. And that's it from me really. I've just included some resources, and again I'll get this sent out so you'll be able to click on the resources yourself and have a look. And just any kind of final questions really.
Excellent. Thank you, Chloe, very much. I'll put some bits and bobs in the chat anyway as we've gone along, so there'll be a bit more information for those that attended. But I just want to say a big thank you, really, and Merry Christmas. But thank you for coming in today. I found it really useful. And I've come from a background where the military were quite skeptical about certain things like this. It's kind of get on with it. However, when you take a bit of time out and yoga and things like this, I think it's quite good to reset yourself and then bring focus back to yourself for a little period of time before the challenges of the next thing.
Absolutely. I think reset's a really good word to use actually, and that's what it can support us to do. So yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
No, lovely to have you. It'd be interesting to find out from those who have their cameras off how many of those actually participated in the first or the second practice, because I'll be interested to see whether what you gain from that, and hopefully provide that feedback to Chloe. Really, I think that'd be useful. But thank you very much again. Hope you have a fantastic Christmas. To everybody attending, thank you very much again. Next week we'll be joined by Michael Wright, Chief Executive of NOTS LMC, to go through a bit of an update from from the England LMC conference and some of those motions and discussions at national level, which I think will be interested. And we have someone else as well, don't we?